and they almost in unison said WhatsApp. And so you'll need to check into that. It would be like FaceTime, but it's a different way of doing FaceTime internationally. And so it's being able to talk to each other and checking time. You have to think it's 11 and a half hours difference. So looking at that, a lot of these folks are working during the day because they're teachers or they're doing something. And so figuring out a time that would work best for you to communicate, a very easy way to start communicating better. In the WhatsApp, as I talked about, my father-in-law was not doing well. So on our drive, actually, to this congregation, we used WhatsApp to talk to my father-in-law. And he was sitting on his couch, and Cheryl and I were talking. We're in the car. It was amazing. We're halfway around the world, and we're able to talk with a family member. So please, I don't know who's part of your committee, but that is what they said is the best way to communicate and get a connection again. They gifted you with this cross, this brass cross. We brought that back. We had many gifts to bring, and so of course they would want to shower you with much more, but of course the prayers they shower you with. And that was very clear in our time together. The faith of the people, the trust in God. Pastor Socrates, or Bishop Socrates, fasted 100 days before we came. 100 days and prayed. And all the congregations that they prayed for us every day for 100 days. And you know what? You knew they did. They said it and they did it. And so that was really powerful to us. Next slide.
So I also want to mention that Pastor Kathy and I are wearing actual Indian garb. Although it's not the traditional, women still wear saris, and that would be most adult women. The younger girls are wearing outfits like us, and the modern women are wearing outfits like us. And of course, when you get into the cities, they wear Western wear too. So, one of our special times was what I would call a brief half-a-day retreat from visiting all of our sister companions' churches. We went to a place called an Interfaith Center that's run by the Arcot Lutheran Church. We were in the city and we're driving around and you saw the hustle bustle, and all of a sudden we stop at this place and we walk back and we're in this beautiful garden where you see Bishop right there. It gave us a chance to enjoy local music and to have a brief respite. It's a coffee shop. People use it like a Starbucks here, so it has many people coming in and out. And for me, one of the most profound parts of our trip was the time we spent at this Interfaith Center. Because the pastor, the head of the Interfaith Center is in the gold shirt there with Bishop. And he is what would be considered a doubt, an outcast, lowest of the low. He's a Arcot Lutheran Church pastor, but in the caste system, which doesn't exist, but which really does, he's the lowest of the low. And his partner in the Interfaith Center is a Brahmin, the highest of the high caste. In normal society, and it's still today, not as much as 100 years ago, still today, Brahmins are not supposed to even touch or come near an outcast. These two people have developed a wonderful relationship together, and they're spreading the news that everybody is on the same page. It was just a really profound, delightful time. Did you want to say something?
No.
Oh, next slide. Oh, it's Pastor's turn.
This is Empowering Women. As I continue to listen to research out there at my leadership summit that I went to, and when you empower women in a community, poverty lessens, the number of people who are in poverty. And this is part of a group the Lebanon House has put together to help women in need. In the past, when a woman was divorced from their family, or their spouse, their husband passed, they were outcasted from their family and thrown into the street. And we were told, then what did they do? And it was either suicide or prostitution. And so this was formed because of that. Clearly there are women still in need. This home empowers women. They do weaving tablecloths and rugs and different things, washcloths, and they also have a community garden, and funds are made from that. That money is used for housing and for sending children to school. The idea is that the children will become educated, they support each other, the children will become educated, and eventually they will be empowered to buy a home, find a job, find a home, and then the mother would have a place to stay. So it's an interesting way of doing things, but very powerful, felt like church to me there, in how the women supported each other and the community that came to support them. We have so much to tell you and not enough time. And so we are always open to come to talk with any of your groups. We wish some of you could come, and maybe in the future you'll be able to go to India or bring someone from India here to continue to learn. We can learn so much more from our brothers and sisters when we expand our horizons and develop relationships with people in our community, in the world. We are better people. We see things in different ways. We connect and see things in different ways as God has called us to serve one another. So let us end in prayer. Gracious God, we thank you for our brothers and sisters in India. May we continue to work at building relationships with our global partners and be open to learning from their ministries. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.